they call it the Pre-Educator program of study. And I have a link to that website that I can send out. But these are the courses: level 1, level 2, level 3. And then sometimes there is some confusion about teacher cadet and the classes that we offer. And so just to kind of address that a little bit, some people, now there is a class called teacher cadet, and then we have our classes called, Foundations of Teaching, Methods of Instruction. You can teach teacher cadet and have their course code, but it doesn't count. Well, now it counts. In the past, it hasn't counted toward being a concentrator, completer. I'll be getting all those mixed up, but it's not a competition. So it's like you can teach Foundations of Teaching and use the teacher cadet curriculum to supplement your stuff. There's a training. Charlie Krausen is the contact person for that. If you wanted to go to it, it is beneficial. The training for when I did it was free, and then they give you the documents. But then after a year or so, they do take away your access. I think it's $45, I think, a year maybe to get access to that. But anyway, so these are your classes here. And then I'm not going to pull that up. I just talked to you about that. But all right. So these are just the information that I'm showing you here. This is not like official lingo or anything, but it was just as I was writing it down, like, what do I want my kids to be able to do and what I want them to know before they go out into their placements. And I mean, I'm talking like they go there. They don't go there right away, but you need to be like efficient with your time, because if not, you're going to start running out of time to get them into their placements, and they're not going to be prepared. But the main thing for me whenever we start this class is, and why it's one of my favorites, is because of the type of assignments that you can give. The class for me they can become more of like a family. Like there's more discussion, there's more group activities, and so I really focus on that at the beginning and have them doing as many things as we can together and getting to know each other. And then I also want them to just get like why they want to be a teacher and all that. And then I'm going to go through these a little more, but that's just a list I had for you. Okay, now I'm just going to dive into, based on that list, some things that I do. I don't know how many of you teach finance, but there's an activity on the Take Charge Today website called Attitudes About Money. And I super love it. And so it's just some beginning statements about, it's like saving is ... and the kids will complete the sentence. And so I thought, well, I love that for the big back to school for finance. And so I just like made up some statements for this class. And some of them are questions, some of them are statements. But so what I do is, and I've done it a couple ways. I've got my things in the way. I have had them, I've given everyone Post-its. I don't do this anymore, too many Post-its. But given everyone Post-its, had them write their answer on the Post-it and go right around the room, and then we'll share out. Now, and what I like best is I have them in little groups. I put this up on the screen, and then they discuss it for a couple minutes, and then I just pick and choose a group or two to share out after each one. It's kind of fast paced. I might give them like 2 minutes between each one, but so I'll just click through these little, what kind of difference do you want to make in the world? Best thing teacher can do for me when I'm feeling down is, the most important thing education does for me is, group work is, I don't know, this is in there, my husband put this in there, I don't know, like a long time ago, but they like think it's hilarious, and so I just left it in there. This one's always fun, like hearing their responses to that one and that one too. And then after my first year kids have done it, whenever we're in the second year, we go back through these, like we do the same thing at the beginning of the second year, but I have them help me come up with other statements that we can use just to keep it going, because like I'm not real good at coming up with stuff on my own. But I really like this. And just side note, I do this in that human relations also, and like it just works everywhere. You just have to come up with your own statements, but like they get to give their opinions. Like nobody's right or wrong, so they don't have to be nervous at the beginning of the year. You know, they just get to kind of sit around and chat. They're getting to know each other. They're getting their opinions out. It's kind of on topic, and then they'll share it with the class a little bit. I don't know. It works. It works well for me. All right. Now, you can have them write it down. I know on the curriculum on Tech Church today, there's a worksheet where they can fill in their answers, but like, I don't think that's, I mean, to me, it's more fun whenever they're getting to chat. But, okay, I did link this on here. It's a communication color quiz. And I'll give you guys access to all this stuff, but I can't find this anywhere else, and I don't know if this is copyrighted or not. Don't tell anybody, okay? If it is, I don't know. But our forensics debate teacher, she did like a breakout session one year at like back to school something, and it's just these 10 questions, and then they score it, and it gives them a communication color. And there's a little document that looks like, oh, you know, I can't find this anywhere, but and then I have like the results that go with it and explain it. And I'm telling you, ever since we have done this, I did this. It was so accurate that when the kids come in, I'm like, oh, you're a blue, I know it. And if you have a class full of oranges, they're talkers. You need to separate them, they exaggerate. And I don't do, well, besides in teaching, we do other self-assessments, it's, you know, in the standards and stuff. But like, as far as like what I need to know for how to group them up or how to sit them or who will work well together, for like 7 years, it is based on this communication color. And like on their rosters, it's highlighted based on this. I mean, everybody has their own opinions about what they like, but I really like this whatever this random thing is. Y'all can find it online, but it's super helpful to me. You know, because I need like I know that I get on green communication color, their nerves, because they like personal space and don't like small talk or being off topic and stuff, and I'm like all over the place. But anyway, okay, that's just something I want to share with you. And then you know, there's a few, you know, I talked about and different self-assessments and stuff like that. And so we have a self-assessment day. I used to try to like spread these out, but so this, I copied and pasted this from Google Classroom just so I could show you, but I put these links on Google Classroom, and and then I made this worksheet. We used to do it a little differently, but I made this last year. And all they do is they put their results in the first column, and then in the second column, they put 2 tips that would help that type of student learn, like based on their own results. And so they fill that out, and then I have them keep a binder in my class, and so all of their stuff would stay in their binder, and that way we can reference back to it and stuff like that. But and then this way, all the self-assessment stuff is covered. Plus, they've gotten to learn more about themselves. Okay. Now this is like skipping way ahead. So 4.3.3, I'll pull and do toward the beginning because, you know, I tell when they're in class, I want them to be thinking like a teacher. And so I need them to know what kind of teacher they want to be. And when we have discussions, I need them to be able to think about, I need them to already know what kind of difference they want to make in students' lives and stuff like that. And so I show them letters from Teddy, which makes me cry every single time. And then I have them on a piece of paper answer these questions. I don't know if y'all have seen letters from Teddy, but it's just about the difference that this kid made, or this kid made, teacher made this kid's life, and really it was the other way around, and you know, just how we learn from them also. But so then they start answering these questions. I also, at the beginning of the year, have them write, so they'll watch this, and then they have them write something, and this has changed about, I don't know, 20 times, but I've had them write a page before on why they want to be a teacher. I've had them, you know, shorten it, but, and I don't know about you guys, and I guess I should have prefaced this at the beginning, but I don't know like the size of your classes, but you know, so at Cabot, I usually have anywhere from like 50 to 65 interns at a time. I'll have 2 classes of the first year class, and then 1 of the second year class. The second year class usually has a 15 or so in it. But I'm gonna stop sharing this for a minute. Oh yeah, can I? Okay, somebody asked for the PowerPoint. Yeah, I will share it with you. If you do want it right now, and if you do, somebody needs to go Google how to share a document in Zoom, because I did that earlier and learned how and was so proud. Now I can't remember. So learn how, post in the comments, and I'll do it. Okay. Anyway, but the class doesn't work very well when, hang on, somebody gave me an idea. The class doesn't work very well when you have people in there that don't want to be a teacher. It just, hang on, I can't do 2 things at once. Okay. So nod if that worked. Okay. Well then there's something else I want you to have too then. And it's just if you need it, but I have this how I keep the standards typed up. Like where I put like little notes and stuff. And in case you want to do it that way too, instead of like writing things random, if you want to type them in somewhere, that just has 1 column with the standards in it, and then 1 column with that's just blank, so you can type in if you want to. Oh yes, somebody put elective dumping grounds. Yeah, that is true, and as to the best of your ability, you need to fight that, because, and I know people say that, and like, look, I know that they're going to put people where they want to put them. I get it. But, and I'm not trying to scare, you know, put whoever you want to in finance and human relations and like wherever else. But like this class, it needs to be different than that. You can't, if they don't want to be a teacher, if they don't have a teacher brain, then all year long, they're going to sit somewhere they don't need to be and get nothing out of class. So, you know, so I make it clear to them, and that's why it's important not to try to get people out of your other classes, you know, because even if they don't want to be there, they're going to learn that. Then more reason to be there because you can get something out of it. I don't know. But for this, you're not going to, classroom discussions will not work because you're going to have people just inserting their bad mouthing the teacher, you know, just like whenever you're talking about like positive and negative characteristics of teachers, then you're just going to have people just bashing and not taking things serious. When you get a good group of people and you're having those types of conversations, they're genuinely telling you like things that they've experienced that didn't work and like why. And so, yeah, they're talking negative about a teacher, which we do have a solid rule in class that is they cannot say a teacher's name. So I think that might be, if you don't do that, you might want to incorporate that. As soon as they say a teacher's name in my class and like to their story or whatever they're saying, then we no longer talk about it. Now, if it's positive, then like let slide. But if they're saying something negative about the environment, we don't talk about it anymore. Now, do I go look up their schedule and snoop and see who it was? Probably. I do that later on my own time, but without anybody knowing. But anyway, so if there's anybody you can like get on your side, so I'm lucky that I do have a principal that will like fight for me. But if that doesn't work, if you get them in there right at the beginning and they're having to look deep into their hearts and tell you why they want to be a teacher, and you're grading it for being thorough and detailed and no fluff, and they can see from the beginning that if they don't want to be a teacher, that they're going to be miserable. And like sometimes I will call them out in the hall and I'll say, look, you know, I want, you know, switch to one of my other classes, but you're not going to be happy here if you don't want to be a teacher. Now, if it's a plan B or a plan C, sure, stay. See if you like it. You'll be able to mark it off a list, if nothing else. But these ones at the beginning where when they're in class discussion and they don't have anything to say, but it's required for them to, you know, give input, but they don't want to be a teacher. So you just can't you can't rely on principals to make sure, or counselors, that people leave. You know, they can still drop. You don't want to like be mean about it. But if you set up the class to where it's like, hey, yeah, there's nothing for me here. This is going to be uncomfortable. I'm going to be bored. Then they're likely to, well, a lot of times, most of the time for me, I've had good luck with it. They'll drop themselves. Okay. Go back to probably what I really want to see here. Get off of this. Now, if I start looking like this at stuff, and I'm talking to y'all about a document, and I haven't shared my screen with y'all, somebody chime in and tell me that I'm looking at it, because I can change my screen without y'all seeing it. And I will. When I was doing my 30-minute video for AtFacts, I kept forgetting to share my screen, but I would have pulled it up, and I was just wasting my time. Okay. So here is, I'm back to this photo now. So in addition to whenever they have to write something, I found this after this last school year started. So my kids have never done this exact one before, but I like it. It's important to know what your why is. And then I didn't come up with any of this wording hardly. I changed some grammar up, but looking forward and backward at the same time. So like thinking about their experiences plus the difference they want to make and whatever. So I asked them questions to kind of get them, you know, talking or whatever and thinking, and then they have to write what their why is and like why they want to be a teacher, and then come up with their teaching metaphor or simile, which I added that little graphic down there because I figure they'll be like, what is that? And then, so now this part that I'm highlighting here, I'm wondering, I'm thinking, I don't know if I would do that or not. I do every single year. I have the kids do a quote assignment, and I love it, and it like gives them like a little downtime to like chat amongst themselves while they're looking for stuff. But what they have to do is, I have these little quote books, or they can look it up online, or if they already have one, they have find a quote that relates to education, decorate it, 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. They can put a piece of construction paper behind if they want to. Prepare a 1-minute explanation for how that quote inspires them, and it must relate to education. And then I just add a few points for like good speech techniques, just because they'll get up there and like mumble, because it's right at the beginning, so I don't like expect too much out of them. But this is the rubric for it. And so the quote it really can be anything. It doesn't have to like actually say the words education in it, but what it means to them, if it encourages them some way or whatever, as long as their speech relates it to education and how it motivates them and encourages them or whatever, then they get credit. I'm on vacation. I don't usually, this is not my tiger painting by my bed, but or I wish I had like some examples to show you, but they really come up with some good ones. Some people just aren't creative and they can't, but I have a book that one of my student teachers, Madison Luck, I know Janet knows her, I don't know who else knows her, but helped me come up with, and it's like we make children's books, and I'll show you that stuff also in a minute, but it's just bound together with like some yarn, and it has different ways that you can be creative and make things look better without having any creativity. Just like layering, like putting an extra layer of, like putting a piece of copy paper inside a piece of construction paper. That's just gluing. Because like I'm not creative, but I can still come up with things. Or like somebody like cut out some shapes and like made a pig. Like, but it was so easy anyway. Like, or just putting speech bubbles somewhere, different things like that. So you can be creative even if you don't have any artistic ability. And then they share. Sometimes people get real deep with it. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they're uncomfortable. But either way, it gets them up talking in front of the class right away. And that's what I need, because I need them to be able to go to their internships. And some of them are nervous wreck. Now, 2 years ago, at the beginning of the school year, I had the kids stand up and tell their name. It was on the first day of school. And I really don't usually do this a whole lot, but in teaching classes, I'm like, okay, they need to be able to talk. They need to get faster they're up talking and comfortable, easier it's going to be. So that helps them say their name, what grade they were in, and what grade they wanted to teach and what subject. And these kids, they had anxiety attack. Like, they were just not happening. Like, they were like needed emotional support. Like, it was insane. So that group of kids didn't go to an internship all first semester. Like, I try to get them into like 5 weeks and coming to me a few days first semester, and the same thing second semester. And I'll give more detail about that. But like this particular group, we had to work on teacher voice. And sometimes you just need to like get in your classroom and have them practice talking louder than normal. Or we had to work on making eye contact or being able to stand up in front of a room. Like, it was just nuts. But so you got to play that kind of stuff by ear. But about the digital posters, I think stuff like that is cool. I like using stuff digital. Only, I guess in my head, like, I just don't like to worry about if they just found it somewhere and are just like turning something else in. But I have them do digital things, and as long as you're like walking around there monitoring, you're going to know if they're sitting there just not doing anything. And my kids, I had them make right brain, left brain flyers this year, and we used Canva, and it was very user friendly. And if you're like ever like, hey, I don't know how to use this, so I can't use it, you just look at it. As long as it's not, just say, hey, I bet somebody here knows how to use it. Like, y'all figure it out and tell your neighbor, like have them do it. Or we used to have a business class. I don't remember the name of it, but they they would sometimes, I'd be like, hey, we don't know how to use this. Can your kids make us a whatever for dummies so they can teach us how to use it? And like the business class would go through these different websites and like make us little step-by-step stuff. But okay, let me go back here. Yeah, yes, they are the best, Sandra, at explaining technology. They'll correct me all the time. Okay. I hope I was done with that. I think I was. All right. Okay. So I've always had my kids make children's books. I have a note on here because I wanted to make sure to tell you guys that we do have a love-hate relationship, myself and these children, the creation of these children's books, because there's like all kinds of things that have to go right in order for it to work. And like you get one kid, I'm stopping sharing this again. I don't like it when I can see y'all, but y'all can't see me. But anyway, like that goes both ways with like the kids not working and helping in groups, and the people being bossy and not letting anybody else do anything. So like we do a lot of group, anytime we do anything in groups, I have the kids fill out a group grading sheet, and that way they grade each other and that factors into their grade along with what I've witnessed. And then but the past 2 years that we've done these children's books, and I didn't do them this year, my 2 years ago kids, they did me, and they took so long that it backed up my whole semester. But they were working hard, it just wasn't happening. And so I didn't want to like rush them so they didn't get to finish them, because they end up being really cute. But like I can't spend 3 weeks creating a children's book. I mean, it's just not working. So I'm going to show you what I use, and if I choose to do it again, I think I will do it to where maybe on Fridays we work on the children's books and we split up, you know, the content or whatever. But so usually I have them, their topic has to be about self-esteem, like the moral, the lesson of the story has to be about something about self-esteem. It can be about whatever. I don't know why I choose that. I just do. But so usually I've found some things here and there to help with the creation of the content and just like their thought process. And this is from the Take Charge Today website. I think I've already referenced that once, but it is a finance curriculum. Well, one, if you teach finance and you don't have an account to Take Charge Today, you're missing out on the mother lode of lesson plans. You need to go on and get yourself one. And then, but also they have things like this children's book creation, which and everything is set up like this. There's like a lesson plan and it tells you everything. And so like, yeah, we're going to get here and there's like, here's some finance stuff. But here is a whole page on children's book writing tips. And here is a graphic organizer. That they can fill out to explain the setting and the conflict and main character map and resolution map. And there's a rubric somewhere, you know, there's a rubric up here for their children's book, you know, if you wanted to use that. And so, you know, I have them fill out that graphic organizer together as a group. And then I also have them, I added this a while back because I just needed to help them like organize their thoughts, and so, and like things wouldn't make sense. And really, I can't have them sitting there in groups every day talking about something and not have things like actually completed. because like I fell into like I didn't have actual like stuff to hold them accountable. Like I needed like they'd be in groups, but then it would so easy for kids to just sit there and do nothing. But then like, how could I prove that? And so I don't know why I keep on sharing it. Anyway, let me go back to what I'm doing. And so on this kind of stuff, so they sketch a front cover of book. It doesn't have to be detailed. And then I just put the layouts here. So here's layout number 1 and pages 1, 2. So what would the sketch be? So they can see what each page side by side would look like in the script. You know, and I think I have like 14 pages here or something. But you know, you can make whatever requirement. But and then I will give them, so then they get this is just like a generic, so it can be used for any class or whatever, but this is what they fill out for group grading, and they have to say what jobs did the person complete, did this group member significantly contribute while or not, and what grade would you give them out of 50. So these papers, which stay anonymous, nobody else sees them, along with what I have observed, goes into their final grade, and I'll show you how I figure that out. Okay, and I'll show you. I have a there's a if I can do it things in a Google form, I do them there, but so I have one on a Google form here also, and pretty much has the same things, like what did specifically list what they did. And so like they have to keep up with what they did, and if they're gonna say that they did a bunch of stuff, then I'm gonna need them to go back and say, well, everybody in the group has to fill out this rough draft thing, which seems a little redundant, but I need accountability. I need to be able to say, I mean, if kids are like, if everybody was just amazing little angels and I knew that everybody was going to do what they were supposed to do, then I wouldn't have to do things like this. But I need to know everybody's doing their job to get their points. And so everybody fills this out. And then on the group grading thing, like when they're actually creating the book, and I'll let them like print out the words and pictures and color them, but they can't just print out stuff and put it on there in black and white. And then here's a rubric that just has like all kinds of things on there. I make them their scripts rhyme in their books. I mean, there's all kinds of benefits to things rhyming, and like and helping kids learn like how to read and with their phonics stuff, and and it just sounds better. I read them 2 different children's books before they make these, and the first one rhymes and the second one doesn't, and it's catchier, kids like it better. And then at the bottom, so it says what the total points of the book is, and then there's a little part here that says based on the effort you gave toward the creation of this children's book, your final grade is this percentage. And then I would have I have any notes I took while they were making the book, and their classmates' comments also. And usually what their classmates say is you have to grade yourself on that group grading thing. So usually they told on themselves before their classmates could. But also, and I've never done this, but I created it, and I don't know why I thought this was going to work for an AMI assignment this past time when things were a hot mess. But I used the Story Jumper website, and here's how to create your account, and it was real easy to just like go in there and create a class. and then an intro. So if we do end up going virtual, I mean, I went ahead and saved it, even though I changed it because it was like for what our district was requiring. This was an outrageous amount of work for them to be doing, and they were just like so confused. But they and I just chose the 6 pillars of character. But if they were on virtual, then the topic could be about like a special need, and that way they would be learning. You'd be covering in a standard, and they'd be doing something like a little creative, and they could still work with. You could put them in. You could put them in groups. That'd be a little. To me, they would need to be in groups for this, but I just put some information about the story structure, my own little advice there, and then some different things. And so my goal was, like this was, there's a checklist for them, and that's how I'll grade it. But I wanted to be able to put this slide on Google Classroom, and that way their progress would be on this slides presentation. So if I wanted to go and check anybody's progress while we were out on virtual this past school year, I could go to this slide and see, well, have they even started planning their character? Have they been doing this? And you can also check their progress on the Story Jumper website. And so I'd be able to like stay up to date with what they're doing if I needed to go in there and check on anybody. And then I just put like, I just added this. I've never done this before, but I think I'll do it. But I did change it to 2. Last night when I was reading this, I thought I ain't paying for 5 books. But I did tell my 2 kids I'm gonna vote on them. And I would, on the Story Jumper website, you can purchase the ebook, like after you write it. And I said that I would do that for them and print it in color. It lets you download it. And we have a binding machinist in my class. And so I said that I would do that for the books that were the best. But you could also, like, if you don't want, like, where there is I have like a peer review something. Nope, I don't know where it is, but where after they write their books in class, they read them to everyone, and then they kind of grade. Everybody gave like a scale of 1 to 5 different aspects of the book, and then whoever had the most points, like I don't know, didn't play a piece of candy or something in the past. But if you wanted to let your kids choose, then that I will add that to this folder. At some point. You can also, if you just want them to get looking into books and like how they can be helpful and stuff like that, there are 2 children's book analysis. I need one of them needs a different name, but I don't know what to call it. But this just gets them looking at children's books, and they can do this in groups. Like, they read them, but do they realize that there are lessons to be learned in all these different children's books and like how they can be used in the classroom? So it just has them kind of analyzing that and whatever. But then there's also one that's pretty much the same name that wants them to read 1, 2, 3, tell what the age range, the brief summary of the book, and the life lesson taught throughout the book. The only reason I have these is because FFA competition failed when we were doing our children's books, and group members were missing multiple days. And so then I decided, well, you know what, if somebody is absent a lot on these children's books, then they do need to do something to make up for it. And so this one here, I had for, I think I don't remember what I did, but every day they were absent, they had to fill this out for a different book. And that way they were held accountable for those days. Because in all the years before that, they just missed school and not have to do anything. Their group members were sitting there working, and there wasn't any way to hold them accountable. So I added that in. All right. Let me I'm just looking at the chat real quick. Okay. All right. So after this, and I like doing those children's books at the beginning, because that gives them like a week or two. Well, I know I said I was going to spread it out, but why I've done it in the past, to get to know each other and chat and like get familiar with the room and where other resources are while still being productive. So it's like family bonding and they're getting content. It's kind of like some different things wrapped up into one. But at this point, after this, we're ready to start. Oh, I'm sorry, back in the comments. Yes, there are. Let me copy and paste these documents back over there in the comment for her that just came in. But we're ready to get started on like content, even though they're tech, they've been learning things, but and then also, which okay, there you go. Let's see, at this, we've also gone over like characteristics of effective teachers. Can I show you this? I'm going out of order, going off my schedule here, but so I will we'll have gone through this, and you guys are gonna have access to all this stuff, but like just have to look at the careers just a little bit, ABCs of education careers. Have them do that in the groups. It's super hard for them to come up with like a career in education that starts with each letter of the alphabet, but they do that. Which ones were hard to come up with? They compare and contrast a few. We discuss. And then there are some, I have them right. I found this, Texas Tech, CTE, has ridiculously good resources. And they have the lesson plans you can go and reference. And so all of this vocab I got from something there. And then I give them a handout where they just fill in like characteristics of an effective teacher. And then, and last year I just had them right on the back because I didn't make the right copies, but, and I do give them a reminder that an effective teacher, there is a difference between an effective teacher and their favorite teacher. And so I want them to, whenever when we're talking about an effective teacher, like, make sure we discuss it's not just the one that lets you get away with things. And in this class, we're teacher brain, not student brain, but so, and then we compile a list, and you could use the board. I used a Post-it, one of those big Post-it pads for the wall, and we wrote a list of characteristics of effective teachers, and we didn't repeat any, but there was just a really strong list of different things that would make up an effective teacher. And then on the back of that sheet, I have them make two columns, and in one column put ones that of characteristics they possess, and in the second column put ones that they need to work on in order to be an effective teacher in the future, just to kind of get them thinking about themselves and things that they can do to improve. And then, just like why do these things matter? I don't think anybody, unless you're in education, realizes how we are under a microscope for every little bitty thing that we do. Especially now when like anything can be videotaped, anything you post on social media can be taken the wrong way. But so like, why does all this stuff matter? Like, but people are going to be, if you choose to be a teacher, people are going to be looking at you under a microscope. So do you want what do you want them to see? And so just like a little discussion there. And then this is actually like the actual PowerPoint from Check This Tech. I hadn't changed it yet, but I just kind of like go through this information. And then we just go through the code of ethics while I'm there, different things. And in the second year class, we go over in more detail about case studies and like have them discuss what they think, if it was a violation or not, or whatever. But we go over that, and then this is where I have every kid needs a champion, or Rita Pearson, which is never gets old. And then this past year, and I'm not sure whether this assignment was successful or not. I'm really not, but you can decide for yourself. Right, I'll show you. But I wanted them to just become more familiar with while they're looking up what college requirements are, like the actual like cost of college and different things. And so I had them list the college they plan to attend. They didn't know yet. Just list one of the options, and they had to find the College of Education and find their program of study, find how much things cost, with little equations there, room and board, total tuition, and then a little bit about how will you cover the cost, how many student loans have to get, are they going to work or whatever. And then here's a calculator on how much will student loans really cost. That they do. I didn't have them, I thought I was going to have them go in and like look up cost of textbooks and stuff, because they're so expensive, and they really do like factor into like, you know, if you have to take out loans, like I didn't just have $500 to pull out of my pocket, but this stuff up here, like some of these colleges, their websites are ridiculous, and like the information was just like nowhere to be found. And so we ended up using this assignment as also an opportunity to teach them that it's okay to send an adult an email, that if they can't find something, go find a person that works at the college and send them an email. I gave them a little like template email up on the board and said, if you can't find what you're looking for, go to the faculty who works there, who do you need to email. And we sent emails. And then like one girl, and she had an anxiety attack, we could not figure anything out for her. No one would return emails, whatever. And so I took her out in the hall, and I was like, okay, we're going to call them. And like, she was like, no, I'm not doing it. And I ended up talking to them for her, because I just couldn't. I thought she was going to pass out. But it is. I remember being that and thinking that everybody was scary, but they're just people. They're there to help you. So just kind of getting them to see that. But I have them print out the any scholarships they have available to them, the print admission to College of Education, and then that can lead to discussion about praxis and stuff like that. Really, this assignment, you know, sometimes I want to give them an assignment and them not need me every second of it, you know, where maybe I can go like, I don't know, not leave the room or anything, but like just not be like 100% right there. This was most definitely not one of those. No, they had questions the entire time, and even though that wasn't necessarily my plan for the assignment, it ended up being like a really good learning experience for all of them, because we pulled in all kinds of like life lessons about like email, you know, like the emailing and, you know, calling people and how to word things and how to actually like look through a website and not give up after 5 seconds and things like that. And then that might be the last thing on this one. I think it is. Okay. All right, and then I'm gonna go back to my thing here. So we do like that kind of stuff for like intro, but then we do jump into like Bloom's taxonomy and lesson planning and stuff like that. For Bloom's, oh, that links me to, that does not go to the right place. Hang on. Okay, for blooms, I go through this bit of information with them. I have my I have my name on there. That way I'll know that I just put all kinds of random stuff in here. But I really struggle with blooms and with the order of the content to give to them. And I don't know, it's do I talk about if I explain it without giving the levels, they're like, what's going on? If I give the levels and then like I don't know, it's just there's so many components of it that it's like they need all the information at the exact same time. And then so I change up all the time. So the order of this, whatever you think works best. But so this just kind of gives an overview. What is it? And this is, I don't have any idea what sources, okay, are used. I have gone through 8 million websites and picked sentences and different things that I felt or worded it myself made sense. And then why use blooms, and some different things here. And then I found, I did have them listed on this, and if you ever list them, you would of course list them 1 through 6. So you'd list remember, understand, apply, analyze, grade. Well, then that will cause all kinds of chaotic mess because the pyramid is upside down and which one's lower and which one's higher because they're written in a different order. And so I did take the list off, but something I do every year, and this really helps to get them to learn the levels, is I have them create a mnemonic device. And so that so they have, here's an example up here. They have to create a sentence that starts with the first letter of the levels. And so nothing will ever be when I was still teaching the oak blooms. This girl wrote King Charles ate at 7-Eleven, and I would remember it my whole life. So knowledge, comprehension, apply, analysis, synthesis, evaluation. So I don't just have these random levels memorized, you know what I mean? And then we started making these mnemonic devices, it just makes it much easier. So I don't know if y'all know what I'm talking about with this. Okay, remember using an atlas every class. So that could be your sentence. So they're going to memorize their sentence. And then after they have their sentence memorized, let's say I have them list these on a test, they write their sentence out, and then they know the first letter already because they memorize their sentence. Remember using an atlas every class. So they know that the lowest level starts with an R. So it's just an easy way to just start the memorizing of it and stuff like that. But then we also go around and share them with the class, and usually somebody's is the favorite, and they just end up usually remembering one person's, but it doesn't matter. They're proud of them, and then they remember them after this. They don't know what they mean yet, but they know the levels. And then these are my no Bloom's verbs. I make them write this on a piece of paper, a big one, and put it in their binder. It's the whole page of it. Because, and if you look at other standards, then it'll say at the end of the lesson, the student will understand how to blah, or understand the components of this. But if you're trying, standards have to be actionable. They have to be able to be measured. And if you can't, how do you know if someone understands something? Well, they would have to explain it to you or describe it to you. So then use those words. They have to directly correlate with something. So we don't use these 3 here, and I make them say that they're not going to use them. And then here is an objective generator. And it does kind of have a bit on the end that is beyond what we sometimes do. But so it says like describe, so you put students, or you could put like this, it says in most detail, but I just put students. And then, you know, you choose a level, remembering, you know, it'll give you whatever. And then students will be able to outline, I don't know. I don't want to use outline now. I can't come up with anything. I feel put on the spot. Okay. That should have been, this doesn't make sense anyway. But either way, the kids can at least look at, here's their thing. They can get an email to them if they want to. And if they're trying to plug in things and kind of see like, does this make sense or whatever, when they're creating them, then they can, this at least forms their sentence for them and they'll know whether they make sense or not. Then we also go over the fact that they don't have to create their own standards because the state gives them to you. And that's in the next assignment. We'll go over, like I showed them like how to find their whatever. But I do have them create these, and then in the in this folder, there's just a couple different things I found. This is just like a sheet that they could actually fill out with so put a question for each level there, and then I have a few more that I could add in. But also in this presentation, there is just different graphics I've seen, and then more information about writing effective learning. And then this here, just I found this has always been saved here, but I don't guess I've looked at it like too well, because this website is like amazing. And like, look at this, Ultimate Guide to Online Teaching. Like, it's just free, it's a free ebook. They have so much stuff on here. And then there are, like, and it's not just about Bloom, this is just one topic. And I mean, I know they're getting you to buy something, but they give you like all kinds of free stuff. And so here's like the different topics kind of over here. But I downloaded like there was just, I wish I could find where it was. Excuse me, in the amount of things I've downloaded lately, but let me just look here real quick, because I don't know if y'all can hear that, but one of my kids, I got the door locked and they're at the door trying to get in. They're just like banging the door back and forth. But well, I don't know where it is, but they were interactive sheets that could be filled in. So if we go virtual, then you know, there are things that we could use. I can't believe I can't find this. Y'all just don't judge all this stuff y'all about to see, okay? Because there's just, it's worth it or I wouldn't be looking for it. Here's the actual ebook. Maybe that isn't what I was going to show you. Here it is. I won't be able to find this. This will be all over my desk. I will have 18 things on it, but okay. That's from that website. And then, but it's made to where things can be typed into it, and they're all like that. And they're made for like teaching classes, you know, like for, you know, a lot of times for us, like we have to go, we find our content and then we have to create the lessons ourselves. which I know you're like, okay, we're teachers, so we have to do that. But, you can find ready-made curriculum for so many things, but you can't find teaching content for high school students. And that's why this class to me is so hard to teach. And so especially for us possibly having to go virtual, I don't really even remember what this one was about, but on the website, if you go look at like the downloads and look through it, then you'll see like it gives you like some, well, here's some just, this is for like having an actionable learning outcome. And there it links to like websites and different stuff. Okay. And then now, look, if y'all are real serious in your classrooms and you're not going to want to do this next part, okay? But there's this, and it's totally 15 minutes long. I know, yes, that's a whole lot of content time that you could be using, but there's this 15-minute video about Bloom's taxonomy according to Seinfeld, and it's so funny. But it is based on the old Blooms, and so you have to tell, in order for them to even like get any part of it, you have to tell them what old Blooms is. And I have started to have to like, okay, at first, like when I started showing it like years ago, like we just watched it, but now that I like know a little better, we do stop it because I have to be like, okay, like, so what did they just do for that level? Because I mean, you can learn a lot from the dumb stuff that they're doing on there. But okay, so after the Bloom stuff, I have them, and this is still, I don't know, sometimes this is before lesson plan, sometimes it's after, but we do a teacher pay teacher assignment. And wait, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me show you this. Okay, so I have a few more things with Blooms. So testing, just do they know it? Here's something, like it has like different, let's see, I think we used like just some words and like, what level did they go in? And then I also did this for the first time this past year. I got off the Facebook page, the Family and Consumer Science Teachers, but it's Bloom's Taxonomy with s'mores. And so I bought some graham crackers and some Hershey's and some marshmallows. And then we did this activity. So I gave them out. So like in order to achieve the remembering part, they had the list, this basic recall, and then understanding, so they describe each ingredient, then applying, construct some more, analyzing, classify the ingredients into 4 categories. Then they had to create a new snack using at least 2 of the ingredients, and then they had to like critique it. And then I don't do any kind of foods class, but like I'm not gonna make my poor babies eat some more that doesn't have a melted marshmallow on it. So I went and stole the microwave for the day and put it in my classroom. Anyway, so I just picked that sucker right up out of the kitchen, brought it, but we're friends, so she's okay with it. But so that was a lot of fun for them. And then so many things open. And then after that, I do have a couple, I'll have the final, but like just having them like practice objectives and this and that. But then I show them like, okay, you do have standards available to you. So like where speaking of where stuff is, like, oh, here it is. Okay. I just went too far back. Okay, so we do a teacher pay teacher assignment. This is like multifaceted. They learn like a bunch of different things with it. One, they learn how to use teacher pay teacher, because no one needs to be creating their own assignments if something is out there. I mean, I adjust every single thing I find. I adjust it in some form or fashion. But I mean, I get my ideas everywhere. I cannot come up with my own ideas. I know some of you can, and that is amazing, but I can't. But I can take somebody else's and adjust it and make it my own, or get more ideas. But so, so, and now if you use this, I mean, I've done it before. I've just printed something out and then been like, oh, wow, that has somebody else's email address on it and specific information to their printer and all that stuff. But so this is exactly for my school. But I have them get an account on Teacher Pay Teacher, and I show them how to get to the frameworks for the class. You need something, Janet?
Oh, I was just going to say, some of the participants are saying on the Bloom's Taxonomy side, the link takes us to the children's book folder.
Yes, it did. Okay, hang on. I'm sorry, it did that for me, but I didn't realize that was going to do that. I totally forgot. Okay.
There's just a couple of things that we might want to touch base on before we travel on.
Yes, thank you. That is
of course.
And actually, last night, I saved these to the, I saved them to the wrong place. Okay. How about okay, these are not in the right folders, okay? I'm just going to give you this whole 5.3 folder right now to that, and you're just going to have to click through. I'm sorry about that. The, I already told you I were on vacation, but I wasn't ready for this. Because,
well, it's important to them, evidently.
Well, yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. No, I straight. Let me stop sharing this for a second. While I straight got like attacked by jellyfish this week, like insanely, and like was like nauseous and confused and disoriented, and like I fell down like in front of everybody. I'm social distancing, by the way. We are not going anywhere. And if we leave, we wear our mask, but we do not go in restaurants. But anyway, can somebody check the link and see if it fixed to the right folder? And now all throughout 5.3, things are random because I just created this folder. You might have to refresh the presentation for it to happen, but I just put the resources in here for this. And so everything's not in there. When I will get you. Okay, thank you. Yes, Molly, I did hear meat tenderizer fixes things, but look,
I wondered if you saw that.
Yes. Well, I'm going to get right back on topic in a second, but y'all need to know. That way you'll know why I'm worse than usual being a hot mess. But I straight fell down in the ocean in front of everybody, like right at the end, at the beginning of, like right when I was getting there, like an big old lady. Like I just flopped down, and I must have fallen on top of a jellyfish, like on it. Because like my whole right leg, like my whole right thigh, inside of my left thigh, my right arm, and like uncomfortable places. My husband had to go with tweezers, get tentacles out, and my legs up. It must have really been in there because I, like the venom or whatever, I looked it up, like, because I was like disoriented for like 2.5 days, and then woke up and was like mega sick. I go to the urgent care and get a steroid shot, and then now, hey, I'm in charge of teaching y'all some stuff. Anyway,
we can all relate. Hey, Rachel Keeter. Rachel Keeter says,
morning and said, Jayme, you go to bed. Like, yes, you're not going to do your thing tomorrow. But anyway, okay.
Hey, Jayme, Rachel Keeter says, this stuff is great. We want it all.
I will.
So okay. There you go.
I will give it all. And for anyone worried that I'm not going to get to the second class, I did if you didn't see it, I did a 30-minute PD for APFACS conference, and it's free. And there's a 30-minute one for teaching 2, and there is a 22-minute video on internships. But anyway, where was it? We are in Pre-Educator is where we are.
Hey, Jayme,
yes.
Caitlin, I feel like this is a talk show. Caitlin's calling in saying, can you send the link to download the ebook? Or did I miss the presentation slides? And I might have missed it myself.
Right.
Multitasking. Did we already go over that? Okay,
do y'all have the presentation, right? Like the one I'm going through right now?
Mm-hmm.
Don't everybody wave. So,
Oh my gosh, that's so cute.
there's a on that presentation on. Oh no, you don't have it. Okay, if you have the bloom stuff now, then on the PowerPoint about blooms, which is in 535. Let me just go get it. I'm right here. Okay. Sorry. See, I thought y'all could see my screen and how it on this Bloom's blog, good info. And that's what I do. I don't know if you ever think you'll, like, if you see resources and you're like, I know I don't have time to do anything with that right now, but I know I would like to look at that more or whatever. Sometimes I just put them straight in the middle of my presentations, and that way if the kids are confused or when I'm looking up, because I'm, as you can probably tell, I'm always running behind, and I don't know how to get back to the chat. And okay, there's oh, nope, I just said that's a Rachel only. Okay, there's a link that'll take you to that website, and then I think you just click on it and scroll down. And then there's all kinds of stuff to download on that website. I mean, all this interactive one, see, I did it again. This interactive one here, that's from the Top Hat website. And there was this is just like one of like a bunch that were there. Let's see, this is one that was there, I think. Yeah, lecture plan. But okay, so all right, do y'all have what y'all needed for the blooms? And I will get y'all everything. I really was like, when Amanda was doing the intro, I was still hyperlinking this presentation over here. So I'm just running a little bit behind. But I'll give you all this stuff, and then I also, like, I'm happy to give you my cell phone and my email. Would you cell phone way better? I'll get behind on email, but you're welcome to text me anytime. You can call too, but you might want to text first, so I'll answer if I don't have your number saved. Okay, so back to this. As long as y'all are ready. Where's the chat? Janet, anybody need anything from me in the chat? I can't find it. Okay. Okay, so for
it looks like it's all good. We're up to speed on our questions, but in a minute, I'm going to put maybe 3 times in the chat. I'm going to put the link that you all need to do. Okay, because the first group this morning, we did wait until the very end. So just notice you'll see me putting that. So make sure you get that link.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry to interrupt.
Okay. No, you're fine. Okay. And so this is just like step by step on, I have them go find their own standards and look through those, and I have them save them into their drive. So whenever they start this assignment, I have them create a folder called Teachers Pay Teachers in their Google Drive. And then they save their standards there, and this walks them through them. It goes, how to create an account, type your topic in the search engine, and search for free resources. You know, because if you sell on Teachers Pay Teachers, you have to have so many free resources, and you want your free stuff to be good so people will buy it. But then it tells them how to go find it. It's pretty, you know, step by step here. So all this. So this is just like instruction sheet and how to screenshot on a Chromebook, because they don't know how to do that. But here is what they're actually creating with it. And anytime I have them do a presentation, it's just, hello, it's just easier for me to grade and everything if I give them a skeleton outline. And so for what they find, they have to get the subject and grade they're focusing on for this assignment, link to the frameworks, the name of the first resource they found, objective from the document I showed them how to find, met by resource number 1, and then a screenshot of the resource. And then on and on, it's the same thing over and over. But then I would have access to their resources, the whole folder that they created. And they would have that there. And so they also, like, so 5 of the resources had to help them meet objectives. And then after that, they had to find resources that would help them organize their classroom, because there's endless amounts of stuff on there. I just want them to know that, like, they're not alone and they don't have to pay, you know, for stuff. There are things out there. I've also done the same thing for Pinterest before and just showed them it's just kind of the same concept, just, you know, just another place to find resources, different blogs, you know, like you know, search for things and try to find things and that could be helpful to you. But I use this to, one, show them a resource, but also, and to how to find things, but also how to kind of look through their standards and stuff. And there's not like a sheet or anything, but probably throughout this, I would also have them look through and find me an objective from a different level. Like I might say, okay, go find me an objective from this level. So like just different things like that, like throughout them looking at their standards. All right, and then okay, and then I move on to lesson plans. And I've done this 8,000 ways also, and I would just encourage you to, when you on the day you do your lesson plan lesson. I know this sounds silly and awful and embarrassing, but I totally videotape that lesson, because I'm not repeat. If the kid misses that day, they're behind. Like if they're sick and they miss like 2 days in a row. So that way it's on them to go and watch the video and then ask me any questions. And I do the same thing when we go over internship expectations or anything that's gonna like put the mega behind if they miss that particular day. So I have this presentation we'll go through, and it kind of tells them like how they're graded and all that. And what this box is, this is the box from the rubric that tells how they're graded. And then when they go to their internships, their mentors are also given a mentor folder with a bunch of information in there. And this is printed out in there also. So this just walks through that. And I have some old examples like put in there from lesson plans. I also have from like different folders I've kept and stuff. And then like I have the hardest time teaching my kids. Like they start their lesson with their set and like something to get the kids' attention, and then they go into their objective, and they think it's the hardest thing to grasp. And so I have a YouTube video link that was one of my previous students, and here's her lesson plan of what she wrote, and then that from 35 seconds to 1 minute and 7 seconds, she completed both of those requirements just in that little bitty time frame. They think it's like extravagant and like way harder than it needs to be. So I got a little example for them there, and then another, and then another. But in this, the first 3 minutes of this must have been pretty awesome, because you see her just teaching, asking different discussion questions and stuff like that. And there's information about the process, a good example, not full credit example, not full credit example. And then like, so it just kind of goes through the whole thing. And then also when we're doing like their assessments and their closures, like they also, like, they act like it's like rocket science. I don't know why, but so I'm just showing them an example, and I have those on there, but, and then they do their reflection. Now, we have always used flip cams to record their lessons at their internships. Those things are just like starting not to work, and they were messing up, and batteries weren't keeping them charged. And so I changed to use iPads this year. And they had their own set of struggles. Some will upload to YouTube, some will upload to Drive, some will upload to either. The tech guy probably like got tired of me calling. But one of the business teachers had these iPad cases where they could sit up, like it like stood them up, and so they were able to sit them up like that and use those while they were teaching. And then so these are just like little tips that I have on there. That way I can put all this stuff on Google Classroom, and they always have access to all of their things, and they can't say that like they've never find it. But so this is just different things. And then I'm not to internships yet, but when my kids, they communicate pretty well with me, the schools, about like when they're going to be testing or if there's a field trip or something. But if for some reason the teachers aren't in their classroom, the librarian says she has like hundreds of books to log back in every day. And so it's just set at this elementary that they go in there and help her reshelve books. And that works out. But like, so we have like 11 elementaries and 2 junior highs, 2 middle schools, and a freshman academy. And so our internship organization is like ridiculous. I just have so many contact people, like I just, assuming there's a lot of people to talk to, but that's just another story in itself. But anyway, okay, and then I also have in here the lesson plan rubric that I use. Okay. Okay, y'all have all right, so the other 2 things I have to go over are how I prepare the kids for their internships, like give them their expectations and transportation and all that, and then what I put in the mentor folder. So I think Amanda mentioned that, this is like a 3-part series or whatever, so they wanted me to just go over the stuff at the beginning and and like first semester stuff. But and I know there's and I can send some links. I'm gonna ask about some certifications. I can send some links to that stuff because I think that sorry, I'm reading the comment. I think that that's something that you can just like read on like the website and don't need me to go over it. But the 2 listed on there, the teaching assistant and the parapro, are the ones that that you'll look into. My kids also do certificate. They do the digital literacy certification on EverFi. It's called Ignition. And then we have an EverFi expert in our present, Cecilia. You just don't mind me. I don't know. I barely know anything about it. But so this is so I have all kinds of stuff, and I'm trying to, yeah, there we go, to my place. So I went through there recently and just like saved stuff that like might be good. I actually saved that for my own kids, but okay. Sorry, my fam just came here with a note. They're gonna go drive around. Okay, look at things. But anyway, and then this isn't their level, but it's like they could look at it to see what some people, what younger kids might be required to do. So even if it's not like exactly for them, but then there's things like this social emotional learning that they can look at, because like I said, when you're in second, third, fourth grade, like do they know what kind of things they have to deal with or struggle with? So it's not just the stuff that are our age level. Now these things aren't certifications; these are just little courses that they can do. But this one, this ignition is, and it just teaches them about digital health concepts like protecting yourself and checking content for accuracy and stuff like that. And then we had, I don't know if they've changed names, but in the past, and I don't have time to look right now, but we have done one was called Honor Code and one was called Say Something, and they were about like bullying prevention. There's one here that it might change names, I don't know, but and then I don't know, maybe just like speaking up. I can't remember, but it was different things that just were helpful to learn about that information if they're going to be like teaching kids and just other things like that. So that is another good thing to check out for any class you're going to teach. Okay. I'm like ridiculous with their internship expectations. Mandy, and hello, man. There's 3 of you in here that have sent me a Facebook message and I haven't replied. I've been real busy. I promise I'm going to reply to you. But it should be in there. If it's not, I'll put the link in the thing. Now, I have always had all this information listed in on the actual lesson plan template, but this year I changed. They needed more room to write, and so I had them a lesson plan information sheet that they goes along with their lesson plan template. So I just put the link to the template in the chat box. But for the internship expectations, look, there is no parents like those teaching parents. I'm telling you what, I don't know if that's just across the board or if it's just me, but the parents that will rip me apart are my orientation and teaching parents. And I don't know if it's because, like, they're not my typical facts kids, your little facts babies, but like they get like, okay, so they're held accountable for sending emails when they're going to be absent. If you don't, it hurts your grade. Like, not to me, I'm sorry, to their internship. If you don't call in when you have a job, you get in trouble. So, and there's all these, different things, and it's a different setup. It's a different environment when they're out on their internships. And those parents have taken things all the way to the school board and superintendent. And so I'm like, okay, we're going to play this. Like, we're going to handwrite all your internship expectations. So we have an extremely long document, and it takes a couple days, but they handwrite. And I'm not an extreme teacher, I promise. Well, you can probably tell, but I'm this exact person there. But they handwrite the whole thing. Okay, let me get there, and I'll tell you, they will say, I didn't know we needed to do that. I didn't know we had to put our lesson plan date in the Google form. I'm like, okay, let me go to my file cabinet, pull out your handwritten thing. I will circle that sucker and send them a picture of it. And it's the best feeling of my life. Like, it really is. That's probably petty, but it makes me feel so good to be like, yeah, you did. You sure did know. So, we do. Like, I feel like it's a waste of time, but I mean, I'm not spending 3 weeks worrying if my school board and my principal's going to back me up, and if I'm about to look stupid in front of students. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just not doing it. So let me get back here. And so this whole, there's a video in here. My goodness, if y'all listen to that, like, don't make fun, but that is, I've used like Screencastify. Oh, I didn't share. I'm sorry. I use Screencastify to, I just pulled the PowerPoint up and talked over it. One year, now I would just go, it's like the times and stuff are different because I teach the class at a different time and different things like that, but I would just record the lesson now. But when I came up with the idea, I had already gone over it in class. So there's a video in this folder of what like things I would go over with them. And then here are the ridiculous amount of expectations that they write. And I do apologize, and I try to, pair it up when there's a sub there, so I don't have to listen to them, complain. But there's a typo. There is they're just doing it. And also, and they carbon copy me on all their emails they send to their people. And their attitude, work ethic is on here, professional dress. Like, finally, after like years of asking, I finally got them to hook me up with our hall pass system, and that's how the visitors check in at the schools. And so I finally have the software on my laptop, and my kids sign in with the system, and so they can't fudge or lie on the little papers. I don't have to go around to 10 different schools getting the sign-in sheets and stuff like that. I just have I have like 6. I try to keep them at as few schools as I can, but they keep giving me my teaching class around lunch times, and I like only have access to either 7th or 8th grade at that one time. So then I have to split between 2 junior highs instead of just going to 1. And then I will only have access to 2 elementary grades instead of all 5 of them, because people are at lunch and recess and all that. So I'm having to like split up all around the world to get them all placed. But I can log into the system. So I don't know if your schools have that, but they can get the software. I mean, if they'll allow it there, but it makes things like way easier. And then this whole thing goes through like them teaching their lessons. And while they're there, they teach 2 lessons. One is not videotaped and one is videotaped. Yes, I will share all this stuff with you. The math. Okay, and then their mentor grades the first one and gives them feedback. They get points for that one just for returning the rubric to me, but I do grade their lesson plan for, correctness with the rubric. By that point, we do a practice lesson plan together over like some random topic that we just choose on the spot in class. They create one, and then we'll like check it. I also have times when they get up and give a presentation where they just put together a set and an objective. Like what they pick a standard and like what could you do with this? That way they could practice that, because they really struggle and they lose points, a lot. So I'm just trying to like add different things to make sure that they get everything. But their internships are like a lot of points for me, just so you can kind of get the amount, like the weight of each grade. A daily assignment for me is like 25 points about. So I know some people grade on like a lower scale or a higher scale. So like the lesson plan is worth 115 points. But built into that also is following directions for picking up camera, signing up the date. I used to have those, like putting their date on the Google form. I used to have those as separate grades, but I have found that if students get a 0 on a rubric, parents get way less frustrated as a 0 in a grade book. So if anything I could add to the rubric for the lesson plan, I did. So, because I know that's so bad, don't judge me, but the parents were emailing me about every little thing, and it was just like, okay, but they didn't do it and they were supposed to. So now it's built into their lesson plan grade and it's on their rubric. So they might get an 85 out of 115, but the parents don't take it to the school board over an 85 out of 115. They take it to the school board over 0 out of 15. It was ridiculous, but that doesn't happen all the time. That's just a dumb situation. But anyway, okay, so they write all this down, every last little bit of this. Isn't that bad? I know I feel terrible, but they do it. Okay, and then they fill out. This is when they get there. They, it's uncomfortable when they get there. They're just sitting there, in a new environment. So I make sure that their mentors know that they have something to do when they get there, and they're expected to fill out this observation form. And the only time that my kids are allowed to sit there and work on anything is when they are working on this observation form. And I usually make this do I used to make it do after the first 3 or 4 days of their internship, but some of my mentors are getting so used to my kids, they'll get them in there and get them right to work right away. So some of my kids have to do this on their own time. Some can sit in there and do it on the spot, but so I give them a couple weeks to get this done. And then they do that, and then the mentor rubric that they fill out during the lesson, the first lesson that they teach, is just like the one I fill out. And then if there's a note, please be honest, they're not, they'll give them full credit because they don't want to hurt their grades. So I tell them they're not going to get points taken off. I know I'm not going in order, but I'm just trying to get done. I'm out of time. Now I did have my kids start making an intro email to send. And so I will put this on Google Classroom, and then they adjust it. And then they have this information done here, and they send it to their person. So I will get them placed and all that into their internships. And then I will email all the mentors and say, hey, you'll have somebody coming to you. You'll be hearing from them soon. And then my kids send this about a week before they go to tell them when they will be getting there and stuff like that. I know that I should, but I don't remember when I did this, but I like it. I found it in my drive, and I like it. So I guess this was just like a scavenger hunt, like a little web questy thing through the internship expectation. And maybe that was for teaching too, as a refresher. I don't really know why I did that, but I saw it and I added it in there. And then also if Google Forms is just like my best friend. So I start planning their internships early on. We're such a big school and we have so many different schools that they go to, that it's really hard for me to, I try to get them in their first 3 choices, but but what if they don't drive, and I need them to get them with someone that drives, but most people can only have one person in their car, and there's just a lot of logistics that go along with that. So I have the kids fill out this transportation Google form thing I just had up. Oh, I opened it twice. And that's not the permission slip. That just gives me an idea as to what I'm working with for the school year. And then while I'm waiting on here's the actual permission slip. And it just says that your kid's enrolled in this class. Can they check which option works? Can they drive? If so, can they have anybody in their car? Can they ride with somebody, or check if none of the options? And if none of the options work, then they have to be placed at the high school. And I express that that's worst case scenario. They get to see high school classrooms all day long, but I used to stress real bad about that and I don't have to do it a lot, but there have been occasions where I've had to. Sometimes at the high school, I'll place in the CBI room. They don't do videotape lessons in there. We alter it a little bit depending on how responsible the student is. So if I know that they're in there, they have a little coffee store and different things. I let them go in there. Sometimes I'll have, if I have a special education student in my teaching courses, um, then, you know, like I had one student and her self-esteem was like really low, and like she already felt like she was like inadequate or whatever. So I couldn't, but she couldn't ride with anybody. It was just a mess. But I put her in the CBI room because she could help those kids learn those few skills or work one-on-one and like feel good about herself. So like sometimes, you know, we get all worked up about some students that, I'm not saying special education students shouldn't be in there, but if they're not, can't perform the job responsibilities and I can't put them into an internship, it's hard for me, you know, it's like, what do I do? But like in that situation, like, so I just put her somewhere that helped like her, and she needed a boost of confidence and just needed to be helpful. So then like, so that's where I put her. And that thing's due on October 222nd. I wonder how many years it's been like that. But anyway, okay. So that's the transportation. The this is teaching too, but I've started having them do a weekly internship assignment. They right now go on Mondays. They go to their internships on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, and come to me on Mondays and Fridays. And so on every Friday they fill this sheet out, and then what they did at their internship. I think I'm going to have them. I've run a traditional schedule. Okay. Someone asked, do you present this to them early in the year or just before internship? Well, I talked to them about what internship is as being, because they all want to know about it right away. And we talk about what they're going to have to do, because some people are like, nope, I can't go teach in front of somebody else. And so they'll drop. But, and then this year I had to come up, because of a different scenario with, I don't even know, I had to come up with internship eligibility requirements. And so I had the students and I come up with those together, and it is a form that says, if you don't meet these requirements, so if you don't participate in class daily, if you don't do these things, then you are not going to go, will not be placed in an internship. So it was a certain situation that had to be established for, but if you have any behavior problems or anybody you're ever like worrying about, like you can't place them there because anger, I don't know why, then that's what we ended up having to do. The class came up with like this contract together on who should be able to go and not, and then if they didn't meet it, they didn't go. But that was a specific circumstance. They give me their internship placement preferences on a Google form. They can just request grades and subjects, no teachers. In the way beginning, they were like with their aunt or something. They never made them go. It was just a mess. And then they also do, let me get to, I know I'm almost out of time. Okay, at this, if you watch the video from the conference, that conference, I showed you a mentor folder that I give all the mentors. This is a thing that just started this year, but they was like rave reviews. They were like, thank you so much. I've just always assumed nobody had any questions. Everybody's just good to go, you know, but if they didn't contact me. But so these things in here are all in this mentor folder are all the documents that I have in the thing that I give to the mentor teacher. And it tells them like what assignments the kids are completing, how they've been taught to create a lesson plan, what their expectations are, the internship calendars in there. And I think there is a copy of my internship. There is one. So if you want to kind of look at how I lay things out, here's the calendar for this past year, or yeah, the first semester internship. And then this is the observation form. It's only condensed because it was going into the mentor folder. So it's the same one I showed you. It's just, no need to put like a 4-page document in their folder if it's not necessary. And then it has like all the rubrics. And this is the lesson plan information sheet that the kids have and keep with them when they're filling out their lessons. And that's provided in there also. And then probably the most helpful is this. Over the years, I've had when I do the mentor, or when the mentors fill out intern evaluations, I'll ask like what kind of tasks my kids have been doing, and I will sometimes have my interns submit Google form things with similar questions. But I just went and copied and pasted all of their responses. And so that's one of the main questions. Like, I don't know what they can do. You know, it's just kind of help take away some questions, or like, I really don't want my kids like running a bunch of errands and just like being all over the place while they're there, because I want them to get as much student interaction as possible. But like sometimes I know they have to, but this just gives ideas on different things that they can do. So if you're like struggling with like what can your kids do at internships, here's some things they might do. Now, if it says grade papers in there, just ignore that. I don't know if they're supposed to or not, but I'm sure they do. And then when they do their videotape lessons, before I will grade it, they have to grade it themselves. And this makes it so much easier, because they have to, if I got 60 or 75 interns teaching 15 to 25-minute lessons, it takes me forever to grade them. But they come on here and they put, when did these things take place? And then when I skim through the videos and I look at like the different components, but I can for sure watch the first 3 minutes if that's when these take place, and then look at these. And then that way I don't have to watch a straight through 25-minute lesson. It maybe takes me like 10 minutes instead to grade each one and to give feedback. But they have to, before I will grade their videotape lessons, they have to have self-graded it and turned in their lesson plan. That way I have both to reference while I'm doing it. And I've already gone to that. Okay. And then the only I have something else. Well, okay, I'm not going to go through it. I'll link it on this presentation, but for special needs and diverse learners, I just like them to be aware that those kinds of things exist. And I know that's stupid to say, but you know what I mean? I just want them to be familiar with different things. Sometimes, I mean this with love, okay? I promise I do. My son's ADHD, so sometimes he does like super annoying things, but sometimes it's a part of his ADHD, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like, it's not like, but I don't want them to think a kid's annoying or like a jerk if they have like ODD or ADHD, or there's just different factors that play. So any lesson that has to do with like the heart of the matter of like loving the kids and stuff like that, I'll pull it in beforehand. And we also do to cover all of cultural diversity, gender diversity, socioeconomic diversity, ADHD, autism. I don't know. Right now I'm like obviously having like a brain moment, but there are I don't know why I unshared you, and I promise like 2 minutes. But this is a mega part of the first semester, but it's easy to understand. It won't take me like a long time. I just need to show you. They do these presents. I give them, I don't know where they're saved. Okay, we do presentations about like all the things I just mentioned. I'm trying to find the skeleton one. These are just like various little like reflection questions, like articles or whatever, but my gosh, I don't know where it is. And then like we cover this.
I think you just went past it over to the right. It said reflection.
Well, no, it's.
Am I wrong? Okay.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, this is just like, thank you though. This is just like a skeleton of it, but like, whatever their topic is, overview of topic, statistics, impact on student learning behavior at school, identifying the problem, helping the students learn, additional information, resources. And this is like kind of like a Podunky rubric, you know, I gave them once, but this is the outline of all the presentations. But these kids have to, I cannot believe I can't find this stuff. They have to make a worksheet. They have to fill in notes as they present it. They have to have an activity. They're practicing their lesson plan stuff. Here's just like random information. They have to create 5 multiple choice questions that they'll send to me, and we'll put them into a Kahoot or like a GIMP kit or a Quiz, and we just like we'll go over it and and review the information. But as they go through that, I'm gonna open up 2 things. I intertwine activities from this disability awareness packet. That's the name of it. If you Google that, but you'll have it in my file too, but it tells you like, okay, so here is stuff about, here's the ones that are addressed here. And then they have activities that help the students see what those types of students struggle with. Some of them I love, some you know, some of them I don't. But the ones I have pulled out, like communication disorders. So I will, like, one year there were these 2 students in the hall speaking a different language, like talking 90 miles an hour, and I asked them if I could videotape, record them for 1 minute and show. And I showed my kids, I'm like, you know, like, how did y'all feel? Like, think about like people that, you know, speak a different language, or put a sentence backwards on the board. Sometimes I give them to play charades, but not often, about people that you know, can't understand or whatever. Hearing impairments, you can have them do like hearing aid test, or you can turn on some white noise and read a book at the front of the room, like whisper it, and then ask them questions about it. There's lip reading points and stuff on there. I always have them, this is so hard, saying those words and not the colors on these things. And but you know, some students, their brain wants to do something else, you know, and there's just that chaos that happens in your brain that I want them to see. Like, sometimes that frustration that you just felt is what other people are feeling all day long. So can't you see why they might like act up or not want to try, because it's so hard, you know. And then here's some dyslexia stuff, which, just the full disclosure, my daughter has been diagnosed with dyslexia within the past couple months, and I've now realized that I know nothing about dyslexia. This is the information that I have always had on there, but it's just nothing like I thought it was. And so my dyslexia resources will be improving greatly for the next school year. So you'll have access to those also. But there's like a certain font that helps people with dyslexia read, and you know, there's some videos and stuff like that. There's a website that it changes, it jumps around, so it's like what it might be like, but different things. And then, okay, so they're outlined on here, like different activities. So like this one, count the number of F's, like in this sentence. So like nobody gets, y'all can see the answer at the bottom, but like people get it wrong. We'll test that later. But anyway, so between their presentations, I go through these activities. So they are given a topic, they research it, they create their presentation, they create a lesson plan, which is an additional practice. They create questions that go with it. They create a worksheet, takes forever. And then I give them like worksheet creation, like tips, and then they present them, the kids take notes, and they do different activities, and then I intertwine like these within those. This whole thing takes at least 3 weeks, maybe more, but it's a chunk of content though. It's anything that the student would struggle with. Okay, whoo-wee, I said that so fast. But it's pretty like detailed, and I have rubrics and stuff. It's just not in the right spot because this stuff was all still saved as Unit 2 presentations from the old OT frameworks. So I need to update it, get in the right spot. But okay. They don't.
Jayme, there's some discussion in the chat, and I know we're past a little bit. but I think it's valuable to them or they wouldn't have put it there. Can you want me to read them or can you see them?
No, I can see them.
Okay.
I'm reading now.
I wish I could bring you some water.
No, oh my, I have a bottle.
I would love to go down there and give you water.
Would you love to do that?
I would love to be there with you.
Okay, I bet my family's ready for me to be in charge of my children. Because I've been like,
And so too. Tell them thank you for
Okay.
sharing us.
I'll tell them. Okay, so if they don't qualify to do internships, are they denied credit? All right, I have no idea about that. But I mean, Jan, am I allowed to just like say my thoughts? Like, okay, I'm like, this is like, I do not work for any Department of Education. Okay, like, okay,
You are among your people here. You can tell.
good, all right. So, and I didn't require this last time, even though I wanted to. But you know, this school year, and I would encourage you to do the same. I'm gonna have to cut out some of this stuff and get them into a classroom getting to know students as soon as possible. Because the only way I'm going to get them student interaction if we go virtual is if I require them to be in those Zoom or Google Meets or whatever. And it's going to be so uncomfortable if they've not already met face to face with those people. And now, might they not let them? I don't know if they're going to let them. I would assume that they would let them, because all other aspects of school are continuing on as normal with a mask and with social distancing. So I don't really see why my kids wouldn't be able to enter, as long as they are following the guidelines. That's just me. I don't know. I have no idea. But so I'm thinking that if we're not in school, then they can join these virtual things. They can help the teachers, but it's not student interaction, but they can maybe help the teachers create some online, stuff. Maybe we could look up different forms of technology that they can access and use for their students, ways to, or if they, like, I know y'all maybe know how to, if you've done the Bitmoji classrooms, like, I'm just not going to be, if I'm just too darn busy, right? I cannot even look at that. But I did download the Bitmoji app, which you got to do that. You can send the best little emoji things, but like, they could do those things for the teachers to put on like online stuff to make it just a little bit more like creative and home, like feeling like home, you know what I mean? So like my kids could help maybe be behind the scenes of that virtual stuff for their internship people. It's not the same, but it's still doing something that would make it maybe a little less awful for the kids at home. They could still teach a lesson. Wouldn't have to be live on the Zoom, but they could pre-record it and teach it, or it could be live, but I think it'd probably be better if it's pre-recorded, at least at the beginning, and then maybe they could switch. But okay, hang on, let me go back to these questions. Okay, if my kids aren't allowed to go to an internship, like meaning if they're not, like if their parents won't let them drive or ride with anyone, then they have to be placed at the high school, and they never love it. Never, they've never, ever, ever liked it. Sometimes they want, I don't just let them choose to be there. But if their parents won't let them go somewhere, then I have to. Yes, my kids do okay, before they go to their internships, they have done the Unit 2 presentation in front of the class. They have something random, I don't know, there's nothing like set up, but I do get them in front of the class with a friend first, because like I don't want to like scar them. I don't know, some PD sometimes it's like you got to get people out of their comfort zones like gradually. If you just pull them out there, you might scar them. So it's depending on like how frightened they are, I may just like sometimes I have to get them up there like with a group first, and then I can eventually like get them up there by themselves. But they do their Unit 2 presentations, they practice their sets and their objectives. Really, anytime we have a discussion, in class, there will be in these little groups, and I will choose a different leader from each group to share out to the class. And so like they're speaking in front of the class like once or twice, or at least once a week. Sometimes it's more formal than others, but an actual full-on run-through of the lesson plan from the set objective all the way through. For the Unit 2 presentations, it's pretty close, but I don't have time for it to be that long, so it's condensed. But before they get a mega grade for it, their mentor grades it before I grade it. You know, because I do the videotape lesson after their mentor does it. Something just blew on the balcony. Things are getting serious here with this storm. Okay. Okay, so Mary Beth, is that Virtual Arkansas? No, what's ARPA?
Arkansas Virtual Academy. We're a online public charter.
Oh, okay. Okay, I am doing the course for Virtual Arkansas. I don't know, I'm confused still what I'm doing, but like, or who has access to that, but I will have stuff on there. Okay, Molly said teacher 2 for viewing lessons. Cecilia, Cecilia said that hers aren't allowed to go to the other campuses for fall semester. They can only observe or intern at the high school. If we go virtual, they'll be allowed to enter whatever Zoom teacher. Ooh. I don't want to do that. I hope my school doesn't do that, but if they do, really, all you can do is keep it open-minded. If they do it, we just got to figure it out. You know, like, I hope y'all aren't into like negative Nancy's that just complain about every little bit change, because like we have to make, if we are complaining and negative about it, then our kids are going to be complaining and negative about it.
Yeah, I was just about to say, everyone's working so hard this summer, but we're going to have to kind of take a breath, step back, and just be really professional, because the kids are going to feed off of our demeanor.
For sure.
You know, and so we do want to be mindful of that.
Yes, and I know I have a lot of teachers around me like that, and it's super unfortunate. I put my email in. Oh, sorry. I guess just sending my stuff to one person.
They want you to share your email for sure.
Well, I just did to one person.
Perfect. Oh, there it is. There it is. I'm sorry. Okay.
My email's on there?
Oh, no,
No, I sent my
your
email.
phone number is, right?
Lily on accident. Yeah, that's my cell.
Okay, there you go. It's there.
Okay. I feel like I missed a question somewhere. Maybe they could do Zoom time. Yeah, Google Meet. And you know, at the beginning of the year, I'm going to have to get something in place, and I'll put it out there forever. But like right away, we're going to have to start talking about what are we going to do if we go virtual. I can't wait until they're gone to start. And so I would encourage everyone to do that. Like, we're going to, in order to make it work and to get the most out of the class, like, it's going to have to be as real life as possible. So it's not going to be like it was this past time. Okay. If I didn't answer your question, will you just unmute and say it? So I'm getting like reading up down here. Oh, I do have I keep a teacher wall of fame. Well, I don't know where it is. I don't have a picture of it, but I have it in the hall right now, but any of my kids that are now teachers, that have their picture out there with what year they graduated, what school they teach at, and what grade they teach. So it's fun. Some I have four now Cabot employees. They're Cabot employees, but one at the high school with me, and then 3 elementary. But it's great, and then like it's fun because like now like they've been saying, oh, I want to be on your wall, and then like now they'll graduate and they'll get a job and they'll send me a message like, can I be on your wall?
It's amazing. We're so proud of that. We took pictures, we show everybody. And, you know, the big talk now is Arkansas wants to grow our own. And, you know, research shows that a large percent come back to their home area. So we want to grow our own. That's the big buzzword. So anyway, her wall is amazing.
I got a picture of it. I like it. And like, my kids like it because they see teachers that are at their school. My two kids, they're 7 and 9, but anyway, okay. Are any questions? I don't care to stay on here. My kids have gone for a drive somewhere. So if they want to go and I can stay for a few minutes if somebody has
Absolutely. Just make sure, did everyone fill out the survey? I mean, the PD, I'm sorry, the PD. So we're doing so many Zooms. Make sure that you do that.
Okay, and then yeah, and so just log off if you have what you need, and if you would like to stay and just like chat back and forth, I'm happy to do that for a few minutes. Thank y'all.
Yeah, or if they want to unmute and ask you something specific.
Yeah.
Jayme, I have a question.
Do what?
I have a question for you.
Okay.
So the timing on your internship made me think maybe you guys run block schedule because I didn't put them out until the second semester.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you do second semester? Do they do like part 2 of OT1?
Yes. So second semester, they'll come back and then we will, and sometimes they don't get out first semester. You know, those stupid children's books, like they're not stupid, but like, anyway, so second semester we will do, like they'll create their ideal floor plan and, it's not organized. Y'all don't make fun of me. I'll, share my screen again, but I got 20,000 tabs open. Let me look at my notes. They do. Sorry, I'm having to look at my notes to find it. Let me just go back. Hey, so I'm gonna just send this, but like, look, it is not or like it looks organized, but like I went and put specific stuff in places like last night. So this is gonna look really empty when you look at it, because if I wasn't covering it today, then I don't know how to find the chat without unsharing. Then I didn't link it. I think that will give you to anything that's in there. And then as I add to it, it'll still be there. But it is on, oh my God, I sent it to one person again. Why does it do that? There. So it's set to viewer. So anything you have on there, you have to make a copy of it, like not to edit my stuff. Oh my gosh, look at these tabs. My OCD kids will be having a breakdown right now. I don't even know how to get back to where I was. Okay. Is that the right link?
I think that was just a document of a lesson plan template.
I think I forgot to hit copy. Okay. All right, so I'm going to share the screen again now. So they, standard 5.2.1 needs to be about 3 different performance indicators or something, because there's so much in that one. But and this brain friendly thing here, our school had some presentation a while back, and I've never used it, but I just keep taking it along with me everywhere I go because I think sometime I'm going to. There's all kinds of good information on there, but okay, so they create their ideal floor plans, and I sure wish that I had a picture of the examples. I'll add them here at some point, but so what they start off with just looking up things on Pinterest, Teacher Pay Teacher, wherever, for 20 must-haves in their classroom. And then they're going to put them on like a presentation that looks like that, which I give them. And here's a student example of this part of it. So she just put like, this is just like the fun stuff. Like, what do you want it to look like? What do you what do you want on the wall? Like, what are some different like stations you want or whatever? Like different things like this. And then, and they use this later. Really, this assignment stemmed from it being time for them to start their classroom floor plan assignment, but I had a sub or something, and I didn't have time to like give them all the information. And so I started with that, but then ended up liking it because then their stuff started to be more detailed. But this is information about their floor plans. And so what they have to do is they have to create an overhead, like bird's eye view of what their classroom would look like. And then they have to draw out their busiest 2 walls. Like what walls have the most? I saved those. Hang on. Well, I don't know what they are, but I will find them and show them because they are amazing. And so they do this, and for a little bit. And so these big assignments like this, sometimes I have my internship kids come back to me like a day here and there just to check in or if they have any questions or this and that. And sometimes I'll start an assignment like this before they go back to their second internship. And then that way, whenever the days they come back to me, if they don't need anything from me, have any questions really, they have something to work on while they're sitting in there. Because I got to where like 5 people would have questions, but then there'd be 15 people sitting there, and they were just like, why can't I be at my internships with my kids? I'm just sitting here not doing anything. So they'll work on this, and this takes a while because they have to, if there's a poster on the wall, then they have to, like, what is on the poster? It can't just be like very, like, super random stuff. Sorry, I thought I had a picture on my phone of it. I was just looking real fast. But, and then, so this is pretty detailed thing for them. And then also second semester, we go over we do like what's behind the behavior. It's a where is it? It's a it came from the teacher cadet stuff, but where in the world?
Are you technically a teacher cadet program?
No, well, I use the teacher cadet curriculum to supplement the Foundations of Teaching course.
So does teacher cadet label Cabot as the teacher cadet school?
Yes, but
Okay.
I just found out, and like I was like, why isn't my login working? Because I kept trying to go back to get my teacher cadet stuff, and then I emailed, and finally, after forever, found out that it does expire. But like I'll pay $45 out of I don't know how much it is, but I'll pay it out of my pocket. But you get the book and the workbook and stuff. So I mean, you don't need online stuff if you go to the professional development. But I do know if you're doing like concurrent credit and stuff, they want to hear you say the words teacher cadet. Like if you're trying
I
to get
can't,
that.
I don't have my master's, so they can't get college credit from me. But the portfolio aspect of the field experience, my kids just about blew a gasket. They could not believe that I was asking them to be in the classroom and then do work to go with it. I was shocked. And so I'm wondering if you have them do a portfolio like the teacher cadet does, or if you do just whatever you want to get good documentation and good stuff for them to head out with.
Okay. Well, look, as of current, I don't have a concurrent class right now. I don't really know why, Janet. If this is inappropriate, just don't even listen. But I've been trying for like 5 years. Like I have my ed specialist degree, so I have master's and ed specialist, and I have schools around. I don't know what the whole up is. It's just always been something, and like, in the midst of a school, you don't have time to stay on somebody's coattails about following through what I've asked like with like my people, not with the state office or anything, but like, and then it's other people dropping the ball. Yes, I should follow up with it. I should, but like I got other things to worry about, so it hasn't like fully happened yet. But this is right now like I just like, to be perfectly honest with you, I just was like, oh, seems like we should probably compile something with all the things that we've done. So let me type some things up that I want you to put together and give to me. So that's like how this came about. And I just thought, well, what have you done that would show like things that you've learned and different stuff like that. And the reason this says choose whichever one is because before they, and I should have said this earlier, but before they go to their internships, they observe kindergarten through 6th grade and fill out a shorter observation form, and then that way they can like be more like knowledgeable when they're picking like where they want to stay. And then so this is what I have them do. Now my teaching 2 kids do a credentials file. I don't even know, like, but it has resume or whatever. I don't know where it is. It has a resume, cover letter, recommendation letters, an unofficial transcript. It's in I'll get those files, but it's in the AppFact stuff already if you have it. And then also 2nd semester, which you would think this would be something that I'd want done first, but to me, my kids creating their own classroom procedures isn't necessary before internships because it's not their classroom. And so with 521, this is okay. So if you have the teacher cadet stuff, there's the what's behind the behavior assignment is it gives a little scenario, and like one's like out on the blabbermouth and blah blah blah. But then they have to fill in a chart, which are these like things listed here, like describe the behavior. What do you think the primary causes are? Whatever. Okay. Well, long time ago, the teacher before me had the teacher cadet stuff. I used it one year. Well, I wasn't supposed to because I have a training, but and then my binder, somebody emptied it. Okay, they sure did. I found it empty, the whole thing. And so there I was, like 22, like losing my mind. I had all the resources one year and came back and didn't have them. So I tried to recreate it myself. It was a hot mess, but I found it cost $10. It's been on my phone for 10 years. I will use it for my whole entire life. It's a $10 ebook, and it's called We Can Handle Them, or You Can Handle Them All. Let me make sure I get the name right. Yeah, You Can Handle Them All. And it has 124 different behaviors listed on it. And so it's on my phone like as an app, and it talks about just these 4 like main primary causes of misbehavior are attention, power, revenge, self-confidence. And it tells you for 124 different behaviors what to do and the mistakes to avoid. So like I'm talking, which every single time I look it up, it says not to be sassy back to them, and I always am, so I'm always have to remind myself not to do that. But I mean, gosh, I've learned so much from this, and I love it. I reference it a lot. I mean, we all save resources and think we're going to use them, and then don't. But this is one that, like, it has been on my phone. I put the ebook on my home screen. It was worth every ounce of that $10 I spent on it, and that's where I copied and pasted the information from that ebook, just on some of the behaviors, not all 124, just on some of them. And so I have a copy of the teacher cadet scenarios, but I have also had the kids come up with described kids that they have seen in class before and different things, and like, so them come up with the scenarios. Like, if I can't, before I did the training, like if I couldn't find my random copy, somewhere. But so we look at this for behavior. That my main thing about teaching is not to assume that a student is just bad. There's always something that could be going on. So like to find what is behind the behavior, and then try to help them with that instead of just, disciplining or whatever, trying to get to the root of it. But then I also do, so that, and then they also do, I give them, there's 2 things on here. This is for elementary, and this one over here is for secondary, just like a procedure checklist. And then I have them choose 25 that they want to create their own classrooms.
Jayme, do you find that when the more they're digging deep into behaviors, they're learning more about themselves too,
Yeah, and it is
It's
great
very
to have
interesting.
them.
And their
They
family
know.
members, and especially themselves, reflection.
Yeah, they complain a lot about the students that they have, like in their own classes at the high school, and they'll be going through this stuff, and they're like, oh my gosh, I bet that kid's autistic. They don't say their name, or if they did, I'd stop it. But it really does open their eyes to like just being judgmental and making assumptions. But you gotta live it too, like as the teacher. But I do tell them, disclaimer up front, look, I can teach you how to be a good teacher. That doesn't mean I do everything right. Like, let's just get real. But anyway, okay, so this stuff takes up a lot of time. I have on the template for their procedures, it's saved in here somewhere.
Jayme, what was that? What was that app? We've had somebody to ask about that.
You can handle them all, and it's been 10 years or so, but I think it's an ebook, not an app.
That's what I thought. I thought maybe they were talking about something else. Yeah. If we didn't answer your question, you can repost it. I think you did.
Okay. What question?
The app. I don't think it was an app, but they put an app.
Okay.
So I think we're good.
Okay. And then I don't know why it's saved up here. Well, one talks about, I guess, compiling stuff. 522 is where I have them put the procedure that they're choosing to do over here, and then how they will manage it over here. But you got to be a stickler, because those circles will be like, they'll choose a procedure like how to pick up a pencil, and then they'll put over here like, so like, I'm not trying to read through 50 people's 25 procedures, but you got to skim at least enough to make sure they're not writing something stupid on there and just getting by with like not doing any work. But and then I don't cover much about Harry Wong anymore, because look at that name. Oh my gosh, do y'all know that I thought this for like 5 years before I realized that I was saying something that sounded inappropriate, and then I had it written on the board. I had the word Harry Wong written on the board, and like my nutrition and wellness kids came in and they were like, Harry Wong, and I was like, what? And I honestly was like, what? And then now he's called Dr. Wong in class. But it's just hit or miss. I have different classroom management people like we'll go over, but I do have an article that I'll add here that it's called Dr. Wong or Dr. Wrong, and it's the other viewpoint. And I happen to fall on the other viewpoint because I don't think that feeding in those expectations at the beginning are the most important thing. I think getting to know them, relationships, is the most important thing. But I don't teach my opinion, but I show both sides. But I don't tell them that. I never say like, oh, I don't believe that. I introduce them to both sides, and then they can talk about it. But and then okay, so that is second semester stuff. And then now if y'all are listening, this stuff is probably going to be on our next meeting. This is my other material. Okay, but there's a teaching strategies chart inside 531. And so I just found this website one year, and it has a bunch of teaching strategies listed on it. And I used to have them give me an advantage and a disadvantage, but now I've changed it. It was just too much writing, just seemed like too much. So I just give them this information about teacher-centered versus student-centered, have them choose some to put there, and then tell me, describe it and tell me, is it teacher-centered or student-centered? And then on this website, you can actually create an account and save the strategies to like a playlist, I guess, if you wanted to like reference back to it. And then what else do we do? I have them do a themed unit, like create but I have OT to do that also. But that takes a while to do. We watch Temple Grandin most years. I don't watch movies really, it's the only one I watch, but I've never understood. Okay, have I not been sharing my screen with y'all that whole time? Oh my gosh. You're supposed to tell me when I do this. I was totally showing y'all stuff. Okay, anyway, whatever. It's ridiculous. I've never understood autism and like I do. That sentence that makes sense until I watched Temple Grandin. It puts you inside the mind of someone with autism. And it's good. And I love her. I love that movie. But when she looks at a door, it shows the angles that are opening with it. When they say getting up with the chickens or whatever, it shows her on top. In her mind, she visualizes sitting on top of the house. It's so good, and it's sad, and people don't treat her right. But without being knowledgeable, she seems annoying with some of her traits, and so it's there's all kinds. Yeah, okay, thank you. Somebody answer it. All kinds of just discussion opportunities and things like that with that movie. It's so good. I do not have the Rona, folks. I've been to the doctor. Every time I cough up here, I feel like people want to run away from me. Okay. I didn't know, are any of y'all need for the resumes and job applications and stuff? I use the information from Take Charge Today. It's that finance website I referenced. They just already have PowerPoints, rubrics, and everybody learns that everywhere. So to be honest, I don't even focus on that a whole bunch. Sometimes Janet don't listen. Sometimes if I might run out of time, we might not do it. Because they can show me, they can pull one up and we can look at something they have already created. And so we'll look at it. When we talk about Maslow's, which I have a note that it'll totally change this year, with Maslow's and COVID, what was the first thing people were concerned with? Making sure people were fed and taken care of. And so that's gonna add some substance to that conversation. But in human relations, I do a styrofoam cup activity where you have like the low, like your physiological needs on the bottom, and then I have the kids like write different needs on the cups. And then so like if you're taking a cup from like one of the higher levels of Maslow's, and these bottom ones aren't going to be affected. But if you take away food from the bottom, the whole thing could come crumbling down, or like just a few could come crumbling down. So it's like just like a visual of like how you need the foundation like to build up. And so I have done that in OT. Is like, oh, I just did that in human relations, let me like do that here. But I am going to adjust my notes now to kind of show, I don't know what I can find online about like what happened when people's safe place went away, which is school, like so often, you know, for so many. So like, you know, how many, you know, I don't know, I haven't looked it up, but you know it's there. So that's how I'm going to adjust at Maslow. And then, okay, what else I got?
You know, we've talked about that FACS teachers are totally equipped for a lot of the conversations. We spend a lifetime learning, and
Oh yeah.
it's going to be interesting to watch, you know, the condition our kids are in, if you will. But it's really interesting that, well, you know, what all we've studied, we've locked down. It's going to be it'll be a really interesting year, but never a better moment to be a FACS teacher.
Yeah, like we have the skills, like for sure.
We probably need to be closing it down. You killed it. You're amazing, Jayme Nyborg. You're awesome.
Thank you. I didn't feel it. Look, I didn't feel it when I was going through that darn Google Drive trying to find all my
We're all struggling, girl. We're just helping each other.
I've already been in an organized fashion.
Oh, yeah.
Can you put your email in like the Google presentation or something?
Do what? What was that?
Will you put your email in something?
Yeah, I'll put it in the chat. And then, oh yeah, okay.
Like on the title page or something?
That is just an excellent idea.
Hey, we're so smart together.
Yeah, look at y'all. Okay.
Hey, Jayme, do you teach OT too as well?
I do. That
Is that a pre-recorded video in the FACS PD for that?
Yeah.
I haven't had a chance to look at any of those links yet this week. I've been busy with other PDs, but
me either.
Can you share with me whatever she's talking about? I'm actually going to be teaching special ed along with this class. So I need all the resources I can get.
Okay. Yeah, and that might, hey, sometimes our CBI class has reached out to us before about seeing if our kids could go on like the day they're learning how to like iron, or you might not be teaching CBI, but you know, just for anybody. Like, and that allows our kids to like.
I'll teach 10 through 12 resource.
Okay.
And I'll have math, literacy, and reading skills or something like that, plus this class. So I have like 7 different preps.
Oh, well, that sounds awful. I know so many people have that. I know I don't like to tell people how many classes I teach, but yeah, that is a lot. But your knowledge from the resource, you know, teaching resources is going to be super helpful with a lot of the, you know, content. So luckily, just us doing our jobs sometimes helps us prepare, but I know that is overwhelming. I'll try to, since I'm this close to being organized, by golly, I'm going to like continue on with this. And so you'll see this, like for 10 years, I've been creating documents and finding resources and losing them and having to refine them and find something else. And so now that I have this taste of organization, like finance has been my only organized course for 10 years, and now I don't teach it anymore. Oh my gosh, I'm heartbroken. But so like I need something else to be organized, and so it's going to be this stuff. So you'll see that these folders are going to start filling up, and I'll probably add a different folder for things that I don't think I might use like for sure, but that are resources I can reference. And then yeah, so on the link Molly shared to the AppFX conference, it has my video for methods, the OT2, and it has an internship video in case I just kind of went over that real quickly here. So there's like 22 minutes of stuff over there.
Awesome. I will definitely be watching that.
Yeah.
Caitlin, what school are you at?
I'm at
Caitlin?
Lakeside here in Hot Springs.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank
Don't
you all
hesitate
so
to ask.
much. What'd you say, Jayme?
I just said, don't hesitate to ask because like,
Absolutely.
like
It's going to take that. It's going
yeah,
to
I
take that.
feel like it appears that like I got my act together, but I definitely do not. And the only reason I have all this stuff is because like everybody's helped me. Like I was like a scaredy cat, little like 22-year-old, you know, like it's just like everybody has helped me so much, or I would have just like completely drowned. And so like I'm happy to return the favor because I would not have survived without people helping me at all.
Jayme, thanks for sharing your time on your vacation. That is such a gift, the gift of your time. And you guys know where to find her now. And so I think we're going to get out of there here now. And you know where we are? If you need anything, call us.
Hey, Amanda, do you know Jennifer Snyder?
Y'all have a good day.
Oh, I think you must have. Do you know Jennifer Snyder? Yes, she does. Yeah.
Yes.
I used to work with her at Success before I took this position.
Who is talking?
Amy Harmon.
Oh, I can't. Oh, okay. Say that one more time. What did you say?
I used to work with her at Success in Jonesboro, and she was the one that actually helped me find y'all to get this thing that you did today.
Oh, well, that's awesome. But yeah.
That's neat, Amy. Thanks for sharing. That's awesome. That's
Thank y'all.
awesome. Okay. Thank you all. Have a wonderful evening. Be careful driving home, Jayme.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.